Welcome. In this lecture, I like to discuss some basics about sheet metal. Although we are going to learn the sheet metal forming and the sheet metal operations and the different tools in Creo software with respect to sheet metal module, but I thought it is important for us to discuss the basics of sheet metal in a very glance way, and I'll be very quick. I'll not be taking much time, but I'll just cover the different operations in sheet metal, and if possible we will also see the different tools which are used when we are working in sheet metal shops. Clear? So let us begin. And first of all, we must know what is a sheet metal. Generally, we can, in the basic terms, we can say the metal which is present in the form of sheet is called a sheet metal, but there should be a thickness for the sheet, right? So what is the range of the thickness wherein we can say that that particular metal is a sheet metal? So you can see in the first point I've written over here a piece of metal whose thickness is between 0.006, that is 0.15 millimeters, to 6.35 millimeters is called a sheet metal. So this 0.006 is inches, and we can say that a metal which is having a thickness from 0.006 to 0.25 inches, in this particular range, if any metal exists, that particular metal can be regarded as a sheet metal. But any material which is thinner than this particular range is referred to as foil, and a metal which is thicker, that means larger thickness than 6.35 millimeter or 0.25 inches, is considered as a plate. Clear? Now the generally sheet thickness is generally measured in gauges. Greater the gauge number, thinner the sheet of metal. Clear? So this is the gauge basically represents the thickness of the metal what we are working with, and the higher the number of the gauge, the thinner the sheet exists. Clear? So we have to remember this particular thing. And generally sheet metals can be cut, bent and stretched into nearly any shape. So we are taking raw material, that is the sheet of the metal, and we are applying some procedures on it, some operations on it, and we are converting the raw material into a specific shape which is used for certain applications. Clear? And most commonly and on general note, there are two types of operations which are performed, that is forming and cutting. Clear? Now let us move to the next slide. Here I have added certain applications of sheet metal which are commonly seen. Like for example, if we have this tins, these are cans where we are seeing in the market with respect to different cold drinks. Clear? And this is a kind of oven cover enclosure, and this is a kind of electronic metal. This is also an electronic enclosure basically, and these are the kitchen appliances, and these are some mechanical components. So there are plenty of applications of sheet metal. So you can see the different shapes which are being formed. Clear? And the raw material is simple, and it is only a sheet which is present in the form of a roll. Clear? That particular sheet is converted into these kinds of shapes by applying or utilizing certain processes. So let us move on and continue our discussion.